What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's pandemic update video for Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. We do have one new COVID positive to report on. A Terrence Dalen Singh, who is the Minister of Health for Tobago, tested positive yesterday, March 27th. I got that from the Daily Express. And we also have something else that I'm doing on the website now. And that is, I started a mega thread. I'm going to add more outbreaks as I see them, and this is in reference to India. So the first one I added was 38 tested positive for COVID at a girls' school in UPS Lakhimpur Khir, and this is from the Times of India. I also want to bring this to your attention. Speaking of India, this is from Jay Wellenhand. This is a fantastic account to follow on Twitter. In fact, I will put his Twitter down below. I will give you a link to that because I want people to follow him. He often does COVID modeling, and I'm assuming or thinking he's probably going to be doing it pretty soon for the XBB 1.16 variant. But right now, it seems that we don't know what it's going to do in other countries. So here's what he said. Case growth increasing substantially from XBB 1.16 in India from a very low case baseline. He says he's not sure at this point how this growth will translate in other countries that have had more recent waves. And honestly, that's a good assumption because I don't know either. I do think here in the United States we're definitely headed towards another wave, but how big it's going to get, anyone's guess. So as you can see here, the XBB 1.16, it's higher than XBB.1, it's higher than BA.5, it's also higher than BA.2, at least at this wave. He has on the chart here that they had, at the end of 2021, a BA.2 wave. I think that's supposed to say BA.1, but honestly, I'm not sure. Maybe he's correct there. So that's that, and it also shows here, he says, because testing has dropped off so much, the test positivity rate is a good way to compare case rates to previous waves, and 1.5% test positivity rate is still well below the BA.5 peak, but increasing quickly for the moment. So that is key to keep an eye on. Then there is this. XBB 1.16, the subvariant driving the new surge in India, is now identified in Texas, Missouri, and in Illinois. And this is from Hubbub World. You see me use this on Friday of last week when we did the COVID variant update, and you're going to probably see more of this because I really like what they're putting out here. They're actually ahead of the CDC. But remember, the official estimates do come from the CDC until stated otherwise, but this is another good way to track what's going on because sometimes the CDC does run behind, and maybe this comes out faster. Don't know. Alright, moving on to this day in COVID history. On March 28th of 2020, to prevent the spread of COVID-19, the White House extends all social distancing measures through the end of April. Then came the whole hydroxychloroquine business. They started using that. And then came CDC issues a domestic travel advisory for New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut due to high community transmission of COVID-19 in those states, urging residents to refrain from all non-essential domestic travel for at least 14 days, and that was effective immediately. And we all know what happened next. Things just continued to unravel. Alright, moving on to wastewater. Still a general mixture of things going on across the country, but the big I-95 corridor from Portland, Maine down to Richmond, Virginia, where there's 100 million people living there, is relatively in low transmission at wastewater. We still have some moderate transmission sites in the Great Lakes with just one or two at high, and the rest of the country is not doing too bad. Look at this. I want to point this out. Look at Utah. Utah has really moved down from moderate to low to just near moderate. That is some good news because Utah was really, for a long time, they were at moderate and high for many weeks. Alright, moving on to this week's community transmission from the CDC. 954 counties are at high transmission. 751 are at substantial. 1,065 are at moderate. 452 are at low. Taking a look at this week's variant proportions, XBB 1.5 is at 90.2%, XBB 1.91 is at 2.5%. BQ 1.1 is at 2.5%. XBB 151 is at 2.4%. And XBB is at 1.2%. Taking a look, as I like to look at, in central Pennsylvania. This is my bellwether for Pennsylvania, or well, the rural Pennsylvania. You have Center County. They have one hospital. Remember yesterday they had 13 hospitalizations. Today it's down to 9. It is good to look at a rural setting to see what's going on. It's a good mixture in this county because they do have the urban setting in the center part of the county because of Penn State University and State College, but the surrounding area is more rural population, and they only have one hospital, and the majority of the patients in the county do get transported to that hospital, so it is a great way of seeing what's going on. Unfortunately, they do have one person in the ICU and one person now on a ventilator. In case you're wondering, the population of this county, I believe, is roughly about 180,000 or something like that. It changes when the students aren't there, but right now the students are there. All right, taking a look at New York State, 695 cases added in the last 24 hours. Test positivity rate is 2.7%. 7-day average is 2.6%. The problem with New York State today does come in the hospitalizations. It's not a massive rise, but there was a small rise today in hospitalizations. 1,121 people in the hospital, 141 people in the ICU. Again, that is an ever so slight rise. Skipping over Texas, because we won't get an update from Texas until tomorrow. BNO News. Here's the U.S. update from yesterday. 10,620 cases were added. You're probably thinking, boy, that's a low number. You're right, it is. But the average did increase by 94. The average is at 19,806. Here's why it was so low. Only 6 out of 50 states reported yesterday. As you know, most states are now weekly, and we won't get a lot of weekly updates until later in the week. Number in hospital, 19,244. That's actually down by 1,023. That's really good, but we'll have to see what happens the next 2 days. Tuesdays and Wednesdays always have rises. ICUs, 2,768. That's down by 107. New deaths, 81. The average is 229. That's down by 2. All right, let's take a look at Walgreens data. We still have this mixed picture at Walgreens. Maine is dropping. They're down by 12.3%, 18.5% this week, 30.8% last week. However, their next door neighbor, New Hampshire, is rapidly going up, 31.4%, 16.7% last week, 14.8% increase this week, 35 tests this week, 30 last week, but I want to point something out. Look at the chart. You can see here, they do a lot of up and down, and right now they're in an up again. And eventually that may start going down again. How about Pennsylvania, my state? 15.6% this week, 19% last week. That is down by 3.5%, but testing is up to 225 from 210 last week. Florida, our spring break state, 25.9% this week, 23.2% last week, 2.7% difference, that is up. And testing is down ever so slightly. Tennessee, what's going on here? Rapid rise here, with testing up as well. 24.7% this week, 19.6% last week, 5.1% increase. Testing is at 417 this week, 367 last week. Here's another one that's been rising. Arkansas, 25% positivity this week, 19% last week, difference of 6%, and it does look like, if you look at the chart, it looks like it's going to start dropping now. The chart's starting to drop, so we might see that reverse relatively soon, but their testing is also down. Kansas positivity, 129 tests this week, 125 tests last week. Current week's positivity rate, 41.1%, 28.8% last week. That is up big time. 12.3%. And look at the chart here. It is rapidly going up with an increase in testing. Nevada, we've been watching Nevada rise as well. 37.3% positivity this week. 29.2% last week. That's up 8.1%. Testing is down. And we'll just end it on the national level. 24.6% this week, 25.4% last week. That's down 0.8%, but it's not down as much as it was yesterday. It's starting to level off, and eventually it's going to probably start rising, but you do have a lot of areas in the Four Corners region and the Northwest which are really dropping right now. So, who knows? Maybe it will continue dropping, but I can't see it lasting much longer with this new variant that's coming into play. And testing, by the way, is down this week. Alright, finally, we'll do a real brief international update because I know this is getting long today. France, cases are up 14%, deaths are down 4%. South Korea, cases up 10%, deaths down 7%. I did want to get in India. India up 87% on cases, up 38% on deaths, and there was one here that was really concerning. Here it is, South Africa. Their cases are up 141%. I don't know if they have the XBB 1.16. Not certain what variant they're on right now, but they're really having a big increase in cases. They don't report on deaths for some reason. Have they had any deaths as of recently? I don't know, but their deaths have been coming up as 0 for many, many weeks. You also have a whole bunch of other little countries like Indonesia, Guatemala, Slovenia. They're all rising as well, so that's relatively concerning, and we'll have to keep an eye on that. Alright, that does it for today's pandemic update video. We're going to do another one tomorrow, Thursday. Friday will be the variant proportion update. That may be late in the day. I'm warning you of that now. But, yeah, we definitely need to keep these pandemic update videos going, at least on the weekdays. Maybe we go back to doing a weekend one as well, depending on how busy I am with the other channel. But, it's well needed because XBB 1.6 is concerning. 1.16 is concerning. I mean, look how fast it's taken over in India, and this is the same time in 2021 Delta was doing that in India, so we have to pay attention and watch it. Alrighty, see you all again next time, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe down below. See you all again next time, and until next time, stay safe, everyone.